Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Luke Metzger. I'm the Director of Environment Texas. We're a nonprofit, statewide, citizen-funded advocate for clean air and clean water. We similarly want to urge some caution as the state moves forward with responding to the drought and planning our future water needs. Because some of the projects in the state water plan have some significant environmental consequences. So, for example, the Marvin Nichols Reservoir has been proposed would flood some 30,000 acres of pristine, increasingly rare bottomland forests. And so that's why it's critical that the state really do have a strong prioritization process in place to reward projects that have minimal environmental impact and rewarding utilities that have really made a commitment to conservation. We would also urge the legislature to make sure we're maintaining the permitting process and the citizens' rights that are currently in place to make sure that any projects that go forward are protecting our environment and respecting landowner rights and citizen rights. We definitely appreciate Chairman Ritter's set-aside of funding for conservation at 20% in HB4. The state water plan projects that 34% of our future water needs will be met from conservation and reuse. We think that likely understates the true potential for conservation, but we would recommend that at least that amount, 34% of the funding, go towards conservation. We would also like the Water Development Board to conduct a feasibility analysis to really calculate exactly how much water we could save through conservation. The PUC did a similar analysis several years ago on the energy side to see how much energy we could save through conservation. As we're planning for 50 years ahead, we definitely think we should know what's really possible in terms of conservation. And there's definitely a number of great models to look to in Texas for conservation. The city of San Antonio, of course, grew 65% while using the same amount of water thanks to water conservation. That's a great model. Opportunities to save water in agriculture, repairs to leaking water mains. And I'll close by just looking back in history. Of course, the 1968 water plan projected that we would need about 32 million acre-feet of water by the year 2020. It's 2013 now. We're using about 17 million acre-feet. So clearly that plan overshot the need. The great thing about conservation is that it's very quick. It can address kind of the growing water needs at a very cheap cost. We want to be careful not to invest in expensive projects we might not need and leave ratepayers and taxpayers of the future carrying that debt. So definitely urge you to maximize conservation. It's a smart fiscal investment as well as the best thing for the environment. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Thanks very much for your succinct testimony also.